Okay, now then. So, like we started database security. Then, so there is a what security is provided by using three: users, privileges, and views. With the help of users, we can control accessing what database, who are allowed to access, who are not allowed to access the database. That is controlled by this. The you can connect and you can connect to the is control the access what database. That's why it is called database level security. So in the database, we create tables. Tables are created. Okay. User user is not allowed to access all the tables. User is allowed to access only specific tables. Suppose there is a user, the user is allowed to access only these two tables, is not allowed to access all the tables. How this can be controlled? By using what privileges. Next, suppose user is allowed to access customer table. What the table contains? Suppose 5 columns and 100 rows. Table contains rows and columns, but user is not allowed to access all the columns and all the rows. User is allowed to access specific rows and specific columns. Is not allowed to access all rows and all the columns. He is allowed to access only specific rows and columns. How this control? This can control with four views. So one is database level security, another one table level security, another one row and column level security. Okay, then. So let's see how to create what users, creating users. Already you know, in the beginning we discussed it. Creating user in what is
Recording
the
in progress.
password is Oracle is the password. Okay. So these two lines are related to memory. We are creating the user. We are allocating the memory. Table space is related to memory. So you can use unlimited memory. Okay. Then you can use unlimited memory. So let me execute this command. Let me execute the command then. So and let me execute this command. So what the user is system, what the password is manager. Okay, this is DBA. Then now create the user. So I connected to system. I connected to sys. Sys is the DBA, database admin. So now is creating a user. What the username is? Vijay. Okay, then 1 second. So it is giving invalid alter session set Oracle underscore script equals to true. Okay. So just before creating the user, execute this command. So user is created. Earlier it is given some error. Now just execute this command, alter session set Oracle script equals to true. So create user Vijay identified by Oracle. A new user is created with name Vijay. And what the password of this is Oracle. Okay, next. And user is created. User is created. But at present, this user is not having what permissions. This user is not having what permissions. Give the permissions. And what that permissions are called? That permissions are called what? Privileges. So privileges means permissions. Privileges means what? Permissions. Okay. Privileges means permissions. And privileges are two types. One is privileges means permissions. Privileges are two types. One is system privileges. System privileges. Second one, object privileges. So privileges are two types. One is system privileges, another one object privileges. Okay, then first one, system privileges. System privileges. Okay, then so then see, permissions on database, system privileges, permissions on table are called object privileges. Permissions on database are called system privileges. Permissions on tables, database object, they're called object privileges. So that means, see, one is, okay, then suppose here, then see, what is this is what database. And inside the database, what we create what table. So let's see here, 1 second. Suppose here, then see, this is database. Permissions on database are called system privileges. Permissions on what database table are called object privileges. Okay, then one is operations on database, another one operations on table. Okay, then so system privileges means the permissions on permissions on database are called system privileges. Permissions on table, system privileges. Now, example, how the system privileges are granted. So these permissions are granted. Permissions are granted by using grant command. The permissions are granted by using what? Grant command. Example. Okay, then permissions are granted by using grant command. Example. Now, let's see. Then, suppose, now let's see. I want to grant what, suppose, for example, I just now I created a user. What the user I created? Vijay. But Vijay is created, but Vijay is not having any permissions. Okay, let's try. Suppose again open SQL plus, again open SQL plus. Suppose I'll say Vijay Oracle. So it is saying error. Vijay lacks what? Create session privilege. He doesn't have permission to connect to the database. Creating the session means connecting to the database. Okay, na? You don't have permission to create the session. Create the session means connecting to the database. Okay, then now, so example, like what now? Grant what? Then what this is? Granting permission to connect to the database. Connect to database. Granting permission to connect to the database. How? So grant what? Create session to Vijay. So I'm giving a permission to Vijay. What is the permission you are giving? Create session. Creating session means connecting to database. Now you can connect to the database. Let's run this command. Who grant this command? Who grant this permission? Who grant the permission? DBA. DBA is granting permission to Vijay. So then grant create session to Vijay. Grant succeeded. So DBA is given permission to Vijay. Now let's check Vijay can connect or not. Then next one, let's see. So then what is this is now Vijay What this is? Oracle. Yes, connected. Earlier it is given error. Now it is connected to database because he has got permission. He has got permission to connect to the database. Okay. Next one. So, okay. Now he can connect to the database. He can connect to the database. Vijay can connect to the database. Okay. Vijay can connect to the database. So Vijay, Oracle. Now he can connect. Can he create the table? Create table A, B, C, A number. Can he create the table? No. Insufficient privileges means he's not having permission to create table, but he want to create the table. Grant the permission. How to grant the permission? Okay. Then so this is connecting to database. Next one, granting permission to create table. Granting permission to create table. So grant what? Create table to Vijay. Grant create table to Vijay. After executing this command, now Vijay can create what? Table. Let me test. So who grant this? Who grant this permission to Vijay? DBA. DBA will grant the permission. Grant succeeded. Now Vijay got permission to create what? Table. Just check whether he can create table or not. Then check whether he can create table or not. So let's create the table. Create table what? ABC A number. Create table ABC A number. Table what? Created. So the table is created. Understood? Okay. Now, so that's all. What is this is? What is this is? Creating what's her? User. Creating the user, granting permission to creating the user, granting permission to connect to what's her? Database. Okay, that granting permission to connect to the database. So create session. What is create session is connect to the database. What is create table? To create the table. Okay, then understood. Otherwise, you can grant both at a time, or you can also grant like this, or you can grant like this. What is that is? Grant what? Create session, comma create table to Vijay. You can grant both at a time instead of granting one by one. Okay. What is this create session, create table? Permissions. Permissions on database, permissions on table. Permissions on database, permissions on table. There are permissions on database, not permissions on table. Connecting to database is permission on connecting to database is permission on database. Creating the table is also permission on database. Creating table is not permission on table. Creating table is permission on database because you create the table in database. Okay, then. So that's all. This is creating what's that? User. Creating the user, granting permissions to the user. Understood? Then next one. Let me create one more user. I want to create one more user. Create user. Create user Naresh. Identified by Oracle. Default table space users. Quota unlimited on users. So grant create session to Naresh. Grant create session to Naresh. Okay, then. So I have two users. One is Vijay, one is Naresh. Okay, na? Then. Okay, then. Now. Now. So this is what is this is? This is Vijay user. Suppose I do one thing. In Vijay user, I create EMP table. In the Vijay user, I create what's it? EMP table. Let me get the script. Demo tables in Oracle. Demo tables. Okay. So whenever you want EMP table, just go to this and get the script. So just create table. Create table script is there. Create table and insert command script is there. Copy the script and execute the script. Execute the script here. So the table is created. Okay. So EMP table is what? Created. If you want, you can check. Select what? Start from EMP. Select start from EMP. EMP table is there or not? Then. Okay. So EMP table is there. Understood? Then. Now, who created this EMP table? Vijay. Who is the owner of EMP table? Vijay. Is Naresh can access this EMP table? Huh? Is Naresh can access this EMP table? Okay, now is Naresh can access this EMP table? No. So he cannot access. Now, 1 second. So this is what then. 1 second. So this is Vijay. Left side is Vijay. And next, open one more. What is this? Naresh. Oracle. Okay. Then. Okay. Then. So I open two windows. Left side is what? Vijay. Right side is what? Naresh. Okay. Then. So is Naresh can access this EMP table? No. Try. Select star from what? EMP. No. It says table or view does not exist. Tables created by one user cannot be accessed by another user. Naresh cannot access Vijay tables. Vijay cannot access Naresh tables. Okay. Then. So if Naresh wants to access this EMP table, Naresh wants to access EMP table created by Vijay. If Naresh wants to access the table, then what Vijay has to give? Vijay has to give permissions. Now he has to give permissions on EMP table. Permissions on EMP table are called what? Object privileges. Permissions on database are called system privileges. Permissions on table are called object privileges. Then what the next one is? Object privileges. Object privileges. So permissions on, okay, object. Permissions on database objects are called object privileges. Okay, then. So, and these permissions are granted by what? The permissions are granted by owner of that object. Permissions are granted by owner of that object using grant command. But whereas system privileges are granted, okay, then. So, and these permissions are granted by DBA, admin by using grant command. But system privileges are granted by DBA, admin, but object privileges are granted by owner of that object. Now, in this case, who is the owner of EMP table? Vijay. Vijay is the owner. So Vijay should grant. Understood? Then, now. So let's see. Now, how they are granted? Then example. So grant all permissions on EMP table to, okay, Naresh. Grant all permissions on Vijay EMP table. Grant all permissions on EMP table to Naresh. So who is granting? Vijay is granting. Okay. Then, so user Vijay is granting. This is granted by Vijay. Previous one granted by admin, DBA. Now Vijay is granting. Okay. Then how to grant? Then, so grant what? All on EMP table to Naresh. So what I'm granting is granting all permissions on EMP table to Naresh. Granting all permissions on EMP table to Naresh. Let's see. Then grant all on EMP table to Naresh. Let's see. Grant succeeded. Permissions on EMP table granted to Naresh. Yes or no? Okay. Now Naresh can access. Yes. How Naresh can access? Select star from what? EMP. Select star from EMP. But still it says tabular view does not exist. Why? Because if you run the command like this, what it thinks is, so it thinks this EMP table is created by Naresh. But Naresh is not the owner of EMP table. What Oracle thinks? Naresh is the owner of EMP table. But Naresh is not the owner of EMP table. It is granted by Vijay. So then how to access this table? You must access like this. Select start from, okay, Vijay.emp. Then you can access. So you must access like this. What, how we can access? The table name should be prefixed by owner name. Because Naresh is not the owner of EMP table. Who is the owner of EMP table? Vijay is the owner of the EMP table. To access this table, the table name should be prefixed by owner name. Okay, then understood. That's so. What is this now? Then how Naresh will access? If Naresh wants to access, Naresh will access like this. Select start from what? Vijay.emp. Okay, then select start from Vijay.emp. Then next one. So then okay na? Then next is Naresh can only view the data. Is Naresh can only view the data? Naresh can, because you granted what? All. You select, update, delete, everything is possible. Suppose you want to update, you can update. Update what? EMP set salary equals to 2000, where employee number equal to 7369. So what he's doing is he's updating 7369 salary with what? 2000. Okay. Who is updating? Naresh. Naresh is updated. Sorry, once again. How? Update Vijay.emp set salary equals to, then set salary equals to what? Once again. Set salary equals to 2000, where employee number equals to 7369. She's updating 7369 salary with 2000. One row updated, Naresh updated. But if these changes are visible to Vijay, changes made by Naresh visible to Vijay, check. Select what's that? EMP NBO salary from EMP. You see, still 7369 salary is what? 800. But he updated the salary with what? 2000. Naresh updated the salary with what? 2000. But the changes are visible or not visible? Not visible. Changes are not visible. Then changes are not visible. So changes are visible after executing what? Commit. After executing the commit. So the changes made by visible to this one after executing what? Commit. Now the changes are committed. Okay. Then next. So now again run the same query. Now you see that 7369 salary is updated with what? 2000. Understood? Then So changes made by one user visible to another user after executing what commit. Okay, then. So not only select, you can also update set salary equals to 2000, where employee number equal to 7369. Note. So the changes made by Vijay, or sorry, changes made by Naresh are visible to what Vijay after what commit. Changes made by Naresh are visible to Vijay after commit. Okay, then update, delete also, because you granted one all. What he can do? Naresh can select, Naresh can update, Naresh can delete, Naresh can insert. So whatever the changes you want to make, he can make all the changes. Okay, then. But here, see, what we are granting is granting all permissions. What we are granting? This is what? Granting what? All permissions. Granting all permissions on table. So granting all permissions. Okay, then. But I don't want to grant all the permissions. I want to grant specific permissions. Yes, that is also possible. Granting what? Specific privileges. Then, so previous one granting what? All the privileges. All privileges. Privileges, permissions, both are same. Now, so what Vijay is doing? Vijay is granting. So what is granting is grant what's that? Grant, select, insert, update on DEPT to Vijay. Sorry, Naresh. Okay. So there is a table called what? Department table. Okay, na? There is a table called department table. Okay, then there is a table called department table. So, like, let's go to this. The script contains the tables, some dummy tables, sample tables. Okay, then. So let's create this table. So table is created now. So Vijay is having two tables. One table is EMP table. One table is what's that? Department table. Okay. Now is granting select insert update permissions on department table to Naresh. Now let's see, grant succeeded. Now let's go to this table. You want to see the table. Then select star from what? Select star from what? Select star from Vijay.dept. Vijay.dept. So you can see the table. Yes or no? Select star from Vijay.dept. Okay. So can you delete the table? Can you delete the row? I want to delete this row. I want to delete this row. Let us check. Delete from what? Vijay.dept, where department number equals to 10 is deleting insufficient privileges. Because at the time of granting, you granted only 3, select, insert, update, delete, but you are not granted what? Delete. So if we try to delete, then what it gives? It gives what? Error. Understood? Then if we try to grant, then it gives what? Error. So delete from what? Delete from DEPT, Vijay.dept, where department number equals to 10. So what this command gives? Error. Got it? Then. So what this is? This is what? Then. So understood that. That's all. So the previous one granting what's that? All privileges. Next one granting what? Specific privileges. Next, granting privileges to multiple users. Granting privileges to multiple users. Then see, what Vijay is doing. Vijay is granting, grant all on EMP to multiple users. Naresh, one user, HR, something ABC like this. Is granting permissions on EMP table to multiple. Okay, understood? Then previous one, you granted permission to only one user. Now you can also grant permissions to multiple users. Otherwise, you can also say like grant all on EMP to public. Grant all on EMP to public. Public means all the users. Public. Public is the keyword. This refers to what? All users. Okay. Then instead of writing the user names, you can say public. If you say public, it is granted to what? All the users. That's it. That's it. Okay. Then okay. Then no. So like why you granted permissions to Naresh? Why you granted permissions to Naresh? Because Naresh wants to work with what table? Naresh wants to work with the table. So you want to access EMP table. That's why you granted permissions to Naresh. After some time, his work with the EMP table is completed. Once his work with the EMP table is completed, then you can take back the permissions. How to take back the permissions? To take back the permissions, we use one command, that is revoke command. Okay. So grant is for giving permissions and revoke is for to take back the permission. Okay. Na? The command used to, okay. So take back permissions from users. Then, so like then. So let's see what Vijay is doing. Vijay is revoking permissions on EMP table. So grant all on, sorry, revoke all on EMP from Naresh. Let's try this then. So revoke succeeded. After this is Naresh can access select star from Naresh dot what EMP. Sorry, select star from what Vijay dot EMP. Let's see. Tabular view does not exist. Okay, na? Then that's it. So revoke all on EMP from Naresh. Okay. So taking back. Then that's it. So one is grant, another one is what? Revoke. Then next. That's it. Okay. Then what the next topic is? Just one is left. What is that is? Database, what's that? Objects. So database objects. One is tables, one is views, third one synonyms, fourth one sequences, fifth one, okay, indexes, sixth one, materialized views. That's it. Okay. So these are the what the database objects. So tables, views, synonyms, sequences, indexes, materialized views. Okay. Then But in this already you know what tables. Already you know tables. Then so what you don't know is you don't know what you don't know views, synonyms, sequence, indexes, material views. Okay, then so then so these different objects are created for different purpose. Tables are created for storing the data. If you want to store the data, what is required is table. Tables are created for storing the data. And views are created for security. Views are created for security. Huh? Specific. Okay. Views are created for security. Synonyms are created to give simple and short name to the table. Your table names are okay, but if you go to real time, the table names may be lengthy. So to give the simple and short name to the tables, we use what? Synonyms. Sequences are created to generate sequence numbers for primary key columns. IDs. We don't want to input the ID. ID should be automatically generated. For generating the IDs, we create what? Sequence. Indexes and material reviews. These two are created for improving the query performance. Indexes and material reviews are created for improving what? Query performance. Okay, then. Okay. Okay. So then, so first we'll start with what? First we'll start with views. So first we'll start with views. Views. What is view? A view is a, okay, then a view is a, okay, subset of a table. A view is a subset of a table. What is that subset means? Part of the table. A view is a subset of a table. A view is a virtual table. A view is a subset of a table, part of the table. A view is a virtual table. Virtual table. Virtual means not real. Okay, why? Why it is called virtual? Because it doesn't store data and doesn't occupy memory. It doesn't store data and doesn't occupy memory, and it always what? Derives data from base table. Okay, na? Then so it is a subset of a table. It is a virtual table. Okay, then another one. Next, a view is a, okay, then a view is a representation of a query. So these are the definitions you can give if what is view. So it is a part of the table and it is a virtual table and it is a representation of a query. That means a view always represents a query. Okay, then. So we'll discuss. You'll understand all these points. Why it is subset, why it is virtual, why it is represents a query. Then, and what for views are created? What for views are created? Views are created mainly for two reasons. Views are created for two reasons. One is to provide security. Another purpose is to reduce complexity. Okay, na? So views are mainly created for two reasons: to provide the security, to reduce complexity. We'll see how you can provide security by creating views. How to reduce the complexity by creating views? We'll see that next. And views are two types. Views are two types. One is simple views. Another one, complex views. So views are two types. One is simple, another one complex views. Okay, then simple views and complex views. Okay, then. So see, views are created on tables. You create the views on what? Tables. If you create the view on single table, it is called simple view. If the views created on multiple tables, it is called complex view. If the view created on single table, it is called simple view. If the view created on multiple tables, it is called complex view. So first we'll see simple views. Simple views. Then when these topics are completed, then we can start PLSQ. Once it is completed, we can start PLSQ. Then simple views. What is simple view? If you based on single column, then it is called simple view. If you based on single column, then it is called simple view. Sorry, single table. If the view based on single table, then it is simple view. If the view based on multiple tables, it is called complex view. Then, so how to create? Create view name. Create view name as select statement. So this is the syntax. How to create? This is the syntax. Create view name as select statement. Syntax for creating what? View. So create view name as select statement. Okay, the next one. Example. So create view v1 as select what? Select. Actually, why you are creating the view? Okay, now what is the purpose? 1 second. Let's see. Suppose then earlier said Vijay, you take Vijay. How Vijay granted all on EMP to Naresh. Yes. And Naresh can access what? EMP table. Yes or no? But he can access the complete table. Naresh can access the whole EMP table. But I don't want to grant all EMP table to Naresh. I want to grant only specific columns. I want to grant only specific columns. Don't grant complete table to Naresh. Grant only specific columns to Naresh. Naresh is not allowed to see salaries and commissions. In EMP table, there are two fields, salary and commission is there. Naresh is not allowed to see the salaries and commissions. Naresh is allowed to access only one columns except salaries and commissions. I want to hide salaries and commissions for Naresh. I want to hide salaries and commissions for Naresh. How? Okay, then. So first what you have to do, you do one thing, create a view. In this view, include the fields, EMP, NBO, e-name, job, department number, hide date, whatever. Include all the fields except salaries and commissions. Okay. So I don't want to grant salaries and commissions to Naresh. So create a view in that we include the fields except salaries and commissions. Then grant all on V1 to Naresh. That's it. So instead of granting the table to Naresh, grant view to the Naresh. After this, Naresh can access only. After this, Naresh can access only view. He can access only these fields. He cannot access the table. Understood on that? He can access only these fields. He cannot access this complete table. So that is the purpose of creating view. Okay, na? So you want to, earlier we granted the whole table to Naresh. I don't want to grant whole table to Naresh. I want to grant only specific fields and specific rows. So whenever you want to grant specific fields and specific rows to Naresh, then use create what's that view. That's it. Okay, then. So create EMP envo ename job department number from EMP. So who is creating? Who is creating? Vijay. Vijay is the owner of EMP table. So he is creating. Grant create view V1. Okay, na? Then next. So create then. So create. So it is saying insufficient privileges. Why? Because he is not having permission to create views. What we granted to Vijay, create table permission is given, but create view permission is not given. Then grant. How to grant? Then next what? Then granting what? Granting create view permission to user. Granting create view permission to user. Grant what? Create view to Vijay. Grant create view to Vijay. So after executing this command, he can create view to Vijay. Okay. Then now we have to give this permission. Who give this permission? DBA, admin. Admin will give the permission. So what? Then, so who is the admin? DBA. Sys DBA. Then grant create view to Vijay. Grant succeeded. Now he can create or not? Yes. Now let's see whether Vijay can create the view or not. Let me try this command. Okay, then. Now let's create this. Yes. View created. Okay. So who created the view? The user Vijay. User Vijay created the view. Yes or no? Then view created. So what is view created means? When the above command is executed, okay, when the above command is executed, Oracle creates what? View V1 and stores what? What Oracle stores? Query. Okay, Oracle creates view V1 and stores query, but not query output. Query output means what? Data. Data is not stored in view. What is stored in view? Query. Query stored in view. Okay, na? Then, so that is the reason. One definition. What is the first one? View is a subset of a table. Why it is subset of a table? Table contains 8 columns, but in view, you are taking only 4 columns. You are taking 4 columns from table. So that's why V is what? Subset of a table, part of the table. And view is a virtual table. View is a virtual table because it doesn't store data, doesn't occupy memory. So whenever you create a view, Oracle stores what? Query. Query stored, but not query output. That means data is not stored in view. What is stored in view is query stored in view. So that's why it is virtual and it doesn't store data, doesn't occupy memory, and it always derive the data from what? Base table. Okay, always derive the data from base table. Okay, na? Then. And view represents a query. What is the third one? A view is a representation of a query. So V1 is representing a query. What is this V1 is representing? V1 is representing this query. The V1 is representing this query. Understood that? Okay, so you created this view, but like, can we run this query? Can we execute the query on view? Select star from what? V1. Huh? Can we run the query on view? Select star from V1. Is it possible? Select star from V1. Will it show the data? Select star from V1. Will it show the data? Let's see. So it is showing the data. But actually view doesn't store the data. But where this data is coming from? Okay, na? View doesn't store data. It doesn't occupy memory, but where this data is coming from? So this data comes from what? Base table. So whenever you run this query, select star from V1. So for the above query, when the above query is submitted, when the above query submitted to Oracle, it execute the query as follows. It execute the query as follows. How it execute the query? Select star from what? Select what's that? EMPNO, ename, EMPNO, ename, job, department number from EMP. You run the query like this, select star from V1, but Oracle execute the query like this. So wherever you reference V1, the V1 is replaced with this query. That means, see, whatever the data that is displayed here, this data is not coming from view. It is coming from base table. Okay. Then. Understood now? Then. Okay. So what the actual purpose is? The actual purpose is what? Okay. What the actual purpose is? The actual purpose is, okay, granting what? Specific rows and columns to user. Okay. Now after creating this view, actually what is the purpose of creating view? Why you created this view? Why you created this view? Because there is a user Naresh. Naresh is not allowed to access complete EMP table. He is allowed to access only part of the table. That's why I created view. Then now grant permissions on view to Naresh. Then now let's see. Granting permissions on view to Naresh. Permission to user. Now, so after creating, now Vijay is granting permission. Grant all on V1 to Naresh. So Vijay granting permissions on view to Naresh. Yes or no? Then now let's see. Then now let's see. So grant succeeded. Okay. After granting this view to Naresh, is Naresh can access employees data? Naresh can access EMP table? Is Naresh can access EMP table? But he can't access EMP table directly. He can access EMP table through V. Accessing view means accessing employees data. Because what is view includes? V includes employees data. Yes or no? Accessing view means accessing employees data. But he can't access table directly. He can access table through view. So this is what? Security, providing security. So through view, we can access only specific columns. He cannot access complete table. He can access only specific columns. Okay, then. Okay. Next. So after that, next go to what, sir? Naresh. Go to Naresh and check whether you can see or not. Okay. Select star from what? Select star from Vijay dot what, sir? V1. Can you update? Yes. Update Vijay dot V1. Set what? Job equals to manager where employee number equal to 7369. Updated or not? Yes. Okay. Through view is updating what's the job. The job is included in view. The job is included in view. Yes. Can you update? Yes. Okay. Then because you granted one, all permissions, you granted all permissions on view to Naresh. Can you update salary? Vijay 1.v1 set salary equal to 3000 where employee number equal to 7369. Can you update the salary? Huh? Can you update the salary? No. So 1 second. Then. So can you update the salary? Salary is invalid identifier. Why? Salary is not included. Only job is included, but salary is not included. So then, but if you try to update the job, then it will accept. So it is accepted. One row updated. But through view, he can't update what salary. So that is what restricting the user to access specific columns and specific rows. Okay, then. But what is this is? This is called column level security. This is called column level. That means you are granting specific columns to users. This is column level security. You can also provide row level security. Row level security. Okay, row level security. What is row level security means? Granting specific rows to the users. Granting what? Specific rows. Then so the previous one is column level, and what is this is row level security. Then how to grant specific rows? Then now same thing. Create what? View v2. Create view v2 as what? Select number, name, job, department number from EMP where department number equals to 20. So there is a user Naresh now. Naresh is not allowed to access all the employees data. He is allowed to access only the employees belongs to 20th department. He is not allowed to access all 14 employees data. He is allowed to access only the employees belongs to 20th. Then. So now Vijay is creating. Now create view V2 as select EMPNO name, job, department number from where. Then now if you grant this view to Naresh, so Naresh can access only the employees belongs to what's that 20th. So grant all on V2 to Naresh. Now go and see the Naresh. Select start from what? Vijay dot what? V2. So now you see this. So you can see only the employees belongs to what? 20th department. He can't access complete EMP table. He can access only the employees belongs to 20th. Then. Okay. Now, so grant all on V2 to Naresh. Okay. Then. So what is this is row level and column level security. The first one is column level, and this is what? Row level security, granting specific rows. Okay. Now, so Naresh can see only the employees belongs to 20th. He can't access employees belongs to other departments. He can access only the employees belongs to 20th department. Okay. Then. Okay. But in these two examples, what we are doing is providing what's that? Security. Providing security. Okay. Then. So how to provide security means that two, granting specific columns and specific rows. How to reduce complexity. Okay, na? Then. So we'll see that in the next class. Hmm? We'll see whether they turn up or not. If not, then okay, we'll continue this. Okay, then.